She walked toward him slowly, and with each step, she seemed to change. Her skin became translucent, and beneath it, Chike could see something moving, something that looked like shadows swimming under her flesh. Do you know how long I've been alive, Chike? Do you want to know how many years I've stolen? Before Chike could answer, before he could scream, before he could even think to pray, the tall shadow behind Adaeze moved. It stretched out like reaching arms. It twisted through the air like smoke giving form. And it wrapped around Chike, pulling him toward the ancient stone. Chike screamed then, screamed with everything in him, but the forest swallowed the sound, and no one in the village heard him. The shadow pulled Chike closer to the stone while Adaeze watched with ancient eyes. "I don't steal years," she said softly, almost gently. "I trade them. A fair exchange, really. I take your future and you take my past." Chike felt something happening to him. His strong young body began to ache in ways he'd never experienced. His joints stiffened, his muscles weakened, his vision blurred. He watched in horror as his hand, strong and smooth just moments ago, began to wrinkle. Age spots appeared like flowers blooming in fast forward. His skin became loose and thin. "Please," he begged, his voice already sounding older, raspier. "Please stop." "I can't," she said, and for just a moment, something like sadness flickered across her face. "This is what I am now. This is what I became to survive. And survival requires sacrifice." The shadow squeezed tighter. Chike felt his hair turning white, falling out in clumps, felt his back bending under invisible weight, felt decades being ripped from his body and transferred somewhere else, to her, to the woman who never aged. Finally, mercifully, he passed out. When he woke, it was dawn, and he was lying by the river. Villagers found Chike at sunrise, collapsed by the riverbank where young women came to fetch water. At first, they didn't recognize him. The figure lying there looked like an ancient man, shriveled and white-haired, barely breathing. Then, someone recognized his clothes. That's Chike, but how?" They carried him home carefully, as if he might break apart in their hands. His mother screamed when she saw him, unable to comprehend how her strong young son had become this fragile old man overnight. The village healer was called, then the medicine man, then the priest. But none of them could explain what had happened. None of them could reverse it. Chike lay in his family's hut, struggling to breathe, his body failing rapidly. His friends gathered around, crying, demanding to know what happened. "Did you follow her? Did you see Adaeze?" Chike could barely speak. His lips were dry and cracked. His voice was a whisper that they had to lean close to hear. With his last strength, knowing he was dying, he spoke the truth that would change everything. "She doesn't steal years." He paused, his chest heaving with effort, his clouded eyes staring at something beyond what they could see. "She trades them." Those words hung in the air like a curse. "What does that mean?" someone asked, but Chike's eyes had already closed. His chest stopped moving. The young man who was 22 years old just yesterday was dead, looking like he'd lived 100 years. The village erupted in fear and anger. Now they understood. Adaeze was not immortal through any blessing or luck. She was borrowing life itself. Every time someone discovered her secret, every time someone got too close to the truth, she took their years and added them to her own. That's why she never aged. That's why she'd lived for over a century looking 25. She was a parasite, feeding on the lives of others. Mama Ijema had been drained of her remaining years for speaking the truth. Chike had been aged to death for following her. How many lives had died mysteriously over the decades? How many lives had she stolen? The village elders called an emergency meeting. Fear had turned to fury. "We must drive her away. We must rid this village of this demon." That night, they gathered everyone who was strong enough to fight. They armed themselves with machetes, torches, and protective charms from the medicine man. The angry crowd marched to Adaeze's hut, torches blazing, voices shouting, weapons ready. They were terrified but determined. This thing that looked like a woman had lived among them for too long, feeding on them, stealing their lives. Tonight, it would end. "Come out, Adaeze."